right now, like inside of you, there are actually more bacterial cells than there are human cells in your entire body.
It is wild to think about, isn't it?
It totally is. I mean, you aren't just feeding yourself every time you sit down to eat. You're literally feeding this trillion-member microscopic army.
Right.
And yet, most of us eat lunch just hunched over our keyboards, firing off these stressful emails, barely chewing our food.
Oh, guilty as charged.
Right. And then we wonder why our quote-unquote second brain is staging a full-on mutiny by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So welcome to today's Deep Dive.
It's a great topic today.
It really is. Today, we are looking under the hood of your digestive system, but, we're skipping all the fad diets and the endless stream of internet quick fixes.
Which is so necessary right now.
Exactly. Our mission here is to get into the actual biology of how specific natural ingredients and the exact physical state your body is in when you eat them basically dictate your daily energy.
Yes, the whole system.
So, okay, let's unpack this because I am genuinely so enthusiastic about how much control we actually have over our mood and our immune system and just our general comfort, literally just by understanding the mechanics of our gut.
It is a phenomenal topic, and like you said, a totally necessary one. Because so many of us only ever think about digestion when it goes wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly, when it hurts.
Right. We think about it when we're bloated or sluggish or in pain. But if we want actual actionable knowledge, without needing a medical degree to understand our own dinner plates, we really have to flip that reactive mindset into a proactive one.
100%.
Because the source material we're looking at today emphasizes this really holistic approach. It's not just a plumbing tube that you occasionally pour drain cleaner into.
Right.
It's an incredibly dynamic ecosystem.
Exactly. And, to understand how to fuel it, I think we have to look at what this ecosystem is actually doing for you 24 hours a day.
Let's get into it.
So it basically breaks down into 3 crucial pillars, right? Breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and supporting immunity.
Yes, those are the big 3.
Now, obviously, the first 2 seem pretty self-explanatory. We chew, stomach acid does its thing, and we absorb the calories.
Right, the mechanical part.
But that third pillar, the immunity part, that is where my mind gets completely blown.
It's a huge shift in perspective.
It is, because I tend to think, oh, my stomach hurts, that's a digestive issue, or I caught a cold, that's an immune issue.
We do. We constantly silo those concepts in our heads, but biologically they are inextricably linked.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is that roughly 70 to 80% of your immune cells actually live in your gut.
Wait, really? 80%?
Up to 80%, yes. Specifically in a network called the gut-associated lymphoid tissue, or GALT for short.
Oh, wow.
And if you think about the biological reality of eating, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
When you swallow food, you're introducing foreign material from the outside world directly into the core of your body.
Right. I mean, it's kind of a massive vulnerability when you phrase it like that.
Exactly. It's the ultimate border crossing.
Yeah.
The lining of your gut is incredibly thin. It's actually just one single cell thick in certain places.
One cell, that's it.
Just one cell. That microscopic barrier is the only thing standing between the contents of your intestines and your bloodstream.
That is terrifying.
It is. So your immune system sets up its primary base of operations right there along the border.
Okay, I love an analogy. So it's basically like a highly advanced processing and security plant.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not just a conveyor belt moving food along. It's extracting the valuable energy, the nutrients, while simultaneously acting as the bouncer at the door, fighting off the bad guys.
That is a perfect way to put it. It acts as a highly trained security force. It's constantly sampling what's coming through and deciding, what's a harmless nutrient and what's a dangerous pathogen.
So the microbiome is involved in that decision.
Absolutely. When you nourish the gut microbiome, you are essentially supplying and training that security force.
Okay, let me make sure I have this right. The microbiome, like the actual bacteria, isn't just digesting our food. It's actively communicating with those immune cells along the border.
Precisely. They are constantly exchanging chemical signals. A healthy, diverse microbiome essentially calms the immune system down. Yeah, it prevents it from overreacting and causing chronic inflammation while also keeping it vigilant enough to attack real threats.
That is amazing.
It is. So when we talk about improving digestion, we aren't just talking about, avoiding a stomach ache after lunch. We are talking about stabilizing your body's primary defense network.
Which naturally brings us to the fuel we're sending down to that defense network.
Yes, the groceries.
Exactly. The source gives us this fantastic, highly specific toolkit of wholesome ingredients to build this healthy gut. And to keep it from turning into just an overwhelming grocery list, I've kind of categorized them for us.
Let's hear it.
Okay, first, we have what I'm calling the fiber heavyweights.
Nice.
That's fruits, vegetables, whole grains, oats, apples, berries, legumes, all that good stuff.
The foundation, really.
Right. Then second, the seed boosters, mainly chia and flax seeds.
Excellent choices.
Third, we have the Culture Club.
Ooh, I like that name.
Thanks. That's your yogurt with live cultures, kefir, and fermented vegetables like kimchi or sauerkraut.
Right, the fermented group.
Fourth are the soothers, so ginger and peppermint.
Great for the stomach.
And finally, the essential base, which is just plenty of water.
It's a really comprehensive toolkit. And notice how heavily it leans away from, like, highly processed synthetic powders or engineered supplements.
Yeah, it's all just real food.
Exactly. It relies on the complex matrices of natural foods.
Okay, now, I have to push back here for a second because this is where a lot of people get confused, and frankly, myself included.
Sure. What's the hang-up?
Well, the text lists all these together. But should we view this massive list as a daily checklist that's just going to overwhelm us? Or is it more like a modular toolkit we can pull from?
Definitely a toolkit. You don't need to eat every single item every day.
Okay, because if I'm already eating the fiber heavyweights, like let's say I have whole grain oats for breakfast and then a massive bean and vegetable salad for lunch, I am getting tons of fiber.
You are.
So why do I also need the kefir or the fermented vegetables? Like, aren't I already feeding the microbiome? Why do I need both categories?
That is the perfect question. And it highlights the crucial difference between prebiotics and probiotics.
Okay, lay it on me.
So the fiber, the oats, the legumes, the apples, those are prebiotics.
With an E.
Prebiotics.
Right.
They are the food for the microbes that are already living in your gut. You actually cannot digest that fiber yourself.
Really? Not at all.
Not at all. It passes through your stomach and your small intestine completely intact until it reaches the colon. And that is where your bacterial army ferments it.
Oh, so the fiber is basically the catering service for the bacteria.
Exactly. It's their food. But the Culture Club items you mentioned, the kefir, the yogurt, the fermented vegetables, those are probiotics.
Probiotics. Okay.
Yes. They contain actual live beneficial bacteria. When you consume them, you're introducing new temporary workers to the ecosystem.
I see. So it's about building the workforce versus feeding the workforce.
Precisely. You need the probiotics to maintain a robust, diverse workforce, and you need the prebiotics to keep them fed so they can actually do their jobs.
Okay, so what happens when they actually do their jobs? Like, when the bacteria eat the fiber, what is the actual biological payoff for me sitting at my desk trying to feel energized?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the payoff is a group of compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs.
Short-chain fatty acids.
Right. And the most famous one is called butyrate. When your gut bacteria ferment the fiber from your oats or your apples, they excrete butyrate. And this is where the magic happens.
Okay, why is it magic?
Because butyrate is literal fuel for the cells lining your colon. In fact, your colon cells get about 70% of their energy not from your bloodstream, but directly from the butyrate produced by these bacteria.
Wait, really?
Yes.
So the cells lining my gut are feeding off the waste products of the bacteria.
Exactly. It's this incredible symbiotic relationship. And butyrate doesn't just feed those cells. It actively strengthens that single-cell thick barrier we talked about earlier.
Oh, the security border.
Right. It keeps the tight junctions between the cells incredibly tight, which prevents toxins from leaking into your bloodstream, which, by the way, is what people often refer to as leaky gut.
Okay, that completely reframes how I look at a bowl of oatmeal.
It changes everything, right?
Yeah, it's not just, keeping me regular. It's giving the bacteria the raw materials to manufacture the compound that literally holds my gut lining together.
Precisely. And that's exactly why the seed boosters, the chia and flax seeds, are so highly recommended in the source.
Because of the fiber.
Yes, specifically because they are packed with soluble fiber, which is highly fermentable, meaning it produces tons of those beneficial SCFAs we just talked about.
Nice.
Plus, they form this gel-like consistency in the digestive tract that slows down the absorption of sugars.
It keeps your energy stable, right?
Exactly, keeping your blood sugar stable and your energy levels consistent throughout the afternoon. No more 3 o'clock crash.
Amazing.
Okay.
And what about the soothers? Ginger and peppermint.
Uh,
Because honestly, they sound a little like old wives' tales, like something your grandmother gave you when you have a tummy ache.
yeah.
Is there actual science behind why they are included in this premium toolkit?
Absolutely. They aren't just comforting flavors.
Yeah.
They have actual mechanical effects on the gastrointestinal tract.
Mechanical effects.
Yeah. Take peppermint, for instance. It contains menthol, which has an antispasmodic effect on the smooth muscles of the colon.
Antispasmodic meaning it stops spasms.
Exactly. If you are experiencing cramping or bloating, peppermint physically relaxes the muscle contractions. And ginger, on the other hand, is a powerful prokinetic.
Prokinetic, meaning it moves things forward.
You got it. It accelerates gastric emptying.
Ah, okay. What does that feel like in practice?
Well, if you ever feel like a heavy meal is just sitting in your stomach like a brick.
Ugh, yes. The worst feeling.
Right. It's because gastric emptying has slowed down. Ginger stimulates the stomach muscles to contract and literally move the food into the small intestine where it belongs.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. So having a ginger tea after dinner isn't just this cozy ritual. You are biochemically prompting your stomach to keep the assembly line moving.
I love that. And then water is the essential base tying it all together, which honestly makes total sense.
That's non-negotiable.
Yeah, I mean, if chia seeds are forming a gel and fiber is sweeping through the system, it needs fluid. You can't run a water slide without water.
That's a great visual. It's critical. Soluble fiber needs water to form that soothing gel matrix. Without adequate hydration, increasing your fiber intake can actually cause constipation.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, essentially creating a massive traffic jam in your intestines.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Okay.
Because we can have all this knowledge, right? We can curate the perfect grocery list. We can eat the oats, drink the kefir, sip the ginger tea, and hydrate perfectly.
The perfect routine.
Right. But I know people, and frankly, I've been this person who eat this pristine, gut-friendly diet, and they still suffer from terrible bloating, reflux, and sluggishness.
It happens all the time.
It's like the premium fuel is completely failing. Why?
Because having the right fuel is only half the equation.
Only has.
Yes. The biological environment in which you consume that fuel dictates whether it succeeds or fails. And this is where we have to talk about the gut-brain axis and the nervous system, the lifestyle factors that the source explicitly mentions. Eating slowly, managing stress, and staying active.
So we're shifting from what we eat to how we live while we eat it.
Exactly. Because healthy digestion requires consistent habits rather than quick fixes. We live in a society obsessed with the quick fix, don't we?
Oh, completely.
We want a magic green powder that allows us to eat whatever we want, live a frantic, high-stress lifestyle, and somehow still have perfect digestion.
It's like owning a premium sports car, which is your body, fueled by these wholesome ingredients, but you drive it recklessly. Like if you're eating fast, living with high stress, and staying completely inactive, putting premium fuel in the tank isn't going to prevent the car from breaking down.
That is spot on. Biology doesn't negotiate with our busy schedules.
I am so guilty of this, by the way. I will eat a perfectly healthy salad full of legumes, whole grains, and leafy greens, but I'll eat it in 5 minutes flat while staring at a spreadsheet, entirely stressed out about a deadline.
And by doing that, you are biologically turning off your digestive system while simultaneously asking it to process a complex meal.
Wait, turning it off, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Let's look at the nervous system for a second. Your autonomic nervous system has two main modes. The sympathetic state, which is fight or flight, and the parasympathetic state, which is rest and digest.
Okay, fight or flight and rest and digest.
Right. They act like a seesaw. When you are stressed about an email, a deadline, or even just rushing in traffic, your brain perceives the threat. It activates the sympathetic nervous system.
Even if it's just like an annoying email and not a tiger chasing me.
The brain doesn't distinguish between the two. Stress is stress.
Wow.
When that fight or flight switch is flipped, the body prepares for physical action. It actively diverts blood flow away from your gastrointestinal tract and pumps it into your muscles and your brain.
That's crazy.
It stops producing adequate stomach acid. It halts the muscular contractions that move food through your intestines.
Because if you're running from a predator, your body decides that digesting a chickpea is not a high priority.
Exactly. It completely shuts the factory down. So if you shovel a massive fiber-rich salad into your stomach while in a state of high stress, that food just sits there. It ferments inappropriately. It produces excess gas. You get bloated. You get acid reflux. And you don't even absorb the nutrients. You put premium fuel into an engine that was temporarily powered down.
Which raises an important question for everyone listening. Like, think about your last meal. Were you actually tasting it, or were you firing off a text message while aggressively chewing?
Right.
Are we actively undoing the benefits of these wholesome ingredients just by being in a state of chronic stress when we consume them?
For a vast majority of people, the answer is yes. This raises an important question about how we treat our bodies during meals.
Yeah.
The communication between the gut and the brain is constant, and it's largely facilitated by the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve.
And
Okay.
here is a wild fact. About 80% of the communication along the vagus nerve travels from the gut to the brain, not the other way around.
Really? So the gut is reporting up to headquarters more than headquarters is sending orders down?
Yes, the gut is constantly sensing its environment. If there is inflammation or if food is stagnated because you ate while stressed, the gut sends distress signals up to the brain.
And what does that feel like?
It can manifest as anxiety, brain fog, or low mood. That is the gut-brain axis in action. Your mental state affects your digestion, and your digestion deeply affects your mental state.
That makes the habits of eating slowly and managing stress totally non-negotiable. It's not just a polite lifestyle suggestion to chew your food. It's a mechanical necessity.
Exactly.
Because digestion begins in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
With the enzymes in our saliva.
Salivary amylase, yes, which starts breaking down carbohydrates before they even hit your stomach.
Right.
But eating slowly and chewing thoroughly also acts as a mechanical signal to the rest of the GI tract. It gives your stomach time to produce hydrochloric acid.
Yeah.
It gives your pancreas time to secrete enzymes.
So it's prepping the system.
Right. If you swallow your food whole in a rush, you are sending massive, unbroken down boulders of food into a stomach that simply isn't chemically prepared for them.
I love learning the mechanisms behind this stuff because it forces you to actually respect the system.
It really does.
So we've covered stress and eating slowly. What about staying physically active? Why is a sedentary lifestyle so devastating to our gut health?
It comes down to gut motility. Physical movement, walking, twisting, exercising, it physically massages the intestines and stimulates the smooth muscles of the digestive tract.
Makes sense.
But there's another crucial mechanism here that relies on both fasting intervals and a calm state. It's called the migrating motor complex, or the MMC.
The migrating motor complex. Okay, what is that?
Think of it as the street sweeper of your digestive system.
The street sweeper.
Every 90 to 120 minutes, when your stomach and small intestine are empty, the MMC initiates a wave of muscular contractions that sweeps through your GI tract.
Oh, wow.
It clears out undigested food, debris, and excessive bacteria, pushing it all down into the colon.
Wait, is that what's happening when my stomach aggressively rumbles between meals? I always thought that was just my body screaming for a snack.
That rumble bore me is the actual medical term for it.
Mm-hmm.
Is often the MMC doing its job. It is literally cleaning house.
That is so cool.
But here's the catch.
Uh-oh.
The street sweeper only comes out when traffic is entirely cleared.
Uh-huh.
The moment you put food in your mouth, the MMC stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I am someone who grazes all day long, a handful of nuts here, a piece of fruit there, a latte an hour later, the street sweeper never actually runs.
Never.
Oh my God.
And when the sweeping stops, bacteria from the colon can start creeping up into the small intestine, feeding on the stagnant, undigested debris.
That sounds bad.
It is. This can lead to a condition called SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which causes intense bloating and discomfort.
Wow.
This is why staying active, not just physically, but by allowing appropriate spaces between your meals, is vital. You have to let the biological mechanics do their job.
That completely shatters the illusion of the quick fix, doesn't it?
Entirely.
You just can't out-supplement a diet where you graze all day in a state of high stress. The habits and the ingredients are a locked package deal.
They absolutely are.
You can't have one without the other and expect to achieve that end goal of feeling energized, comfortable, and strong.
But it is incredibly freeing once you accept it. You don't have to exhaust yourself jumping on the next trend or buying a miracle detox product. You just return to the foundational biology.
So what does this all mean? If we distill this deep dive down to your immediate practical reality, it basically boils down to this. Your digestive system is a tireless, highly intelligent ecosystem.
Cool.
It is breaking down your food, absorbing your energy, and literally acting as the headquarters for your immune system.
Exactly.
And to support it, you need to provide it with a modular toolkit of natural, wholesome ingredients. Lean on the prebiotics, the fiber heavyweights, and the seeds to feed the microbiome. Introduce the probiotics, the culture club, to populate your workforce so they can produce those magical short-chain fatty acids.
Beautifully summarized.
And rely on the soothers like ginger and peppermint when you need mechanical support. But all of that is useless if you don't do the rest.
Right. Crucially, you have to create the biological environment that allows that fuel to work.
You must activate the parasympathetic nervous system by slowing down and managing stress. And give your body the blood flow and the chemical signals it needs to actually digest.
Yes.
You have to chew your food, and you have to stop grazing constantly so your internal street sweeper can clean up the debris. It is a lifelong, consistent practice.
It truly is. We've covered the complex mechanisms of what to eat and how to eat it today. And if we look at the core philosophy of all this biology, there's one final, incredibly powerful thought I want to leave you with.
I'm ready.
Based strictly on the source's closing philosophy, it's the realization that every meal is an opportunity.
Oh, I love that. That is profound in its simplicity. It takes something we view as just a mundane chore and completely elevates it.
It changes the entire paradigm. So I want to ask you, the listener, this. Knowing everything we've just discussed about the gut-brain axis, the immune system, and the trillion microscopic workers waiting for their supplies, if every single meal is a literal opportunity to alter your biology, to fuel your body with ingredients that reduce inflammation and make you feel strong, how does reframing your very next meal as a deliberate opportunity, rather than just a rushed, annoying daily necessity, change the way you sit, the way you breathe before your first bite, and what you ultimately choose to put on your plate?